Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the Pepe family. Appreciate you guys as always for sticking around and showing tremendous amount of love. Let's take a look at what's happening with Pepe right now, and of course what we could be expecting as we are going into Tuesday morning. So today was a great day for the crypto markets. I shouldn't say today, I should say yesterday, because it's past midnight here in North America, depending where you are, of course. But yesterday was an amazing day for the crypto space. We're seeing double-digit gainers across the market. Meme coins obviously feeling the love as well. WIF is up 23%, Bonk up 15%, SPX 28.5, Pepe up a staggering 13.5%. But let's analyze and take a closer look and see what's happening with Pepe right now and what are the next targets we should be looking out for. But before we get into it any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in cryptocurrency. So the price of Pepe is back above the 10-1-2 zone. So 4 zeros in front of the price. We have knocked out a zero out of the price, which of course is always nice to see. Up 13% as mentioned in USD, up 8.8% in Bitcoin, and about 5% in Ethereum. Comparative valuation sitting at about 4.27 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $1.3 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So the holder count, 453,886 holders. Day in, day out, we are seeing an increase for the holder count, which of course is really nice to see. But now if you're looking at the broader meme coin market, the broader meme coin market, you're actually seeing some memes up quite a bit. So if you know what you're doing, if you understand the meme coin market, some people really know how to, time this market, which projects to look out for. Some are making crazy amounts of gains right now. But if you're looking at just the last 24 hours, you could see this for yourself. You're seeing some crazy gains being made. Like I said, SPX is really climbing in terms of meme coin ranks, up 30% just over the last 24 hours. But yeah, pretty much everything seems to be up right now. You can see double-digit gainers across the board as of now. So in terms of Pepe's spot, Pepe still ranked as a top third coin. Obviously 4.2 billion valuation, getting closer and closer to Shiba Inu's level. And I do believe that this is getting closer and closer for us to see Pepe really reclaiming that top second spot. I've said this from the beginning, from day one, and I personally project that we are coming closer to that to really happen. But again, this is my own personal opinion. Only time is going to tell. Now, if you're looking at the dominance, dominance has done exactly what we've discussed update after update. How it's showing a lot of strength. We went up to the likes of 66%. Since then, we have seen a little bit of a drop for the dominance, but our previous yearly high back in May, that yearly high is now playing as a support for the dominance itself, which is crazy to think about. If you're looking at BTC, Bitcoin actually had a beautiful bounce, about a 9% gain for BTC since just yesterday alone, and a 9% increase is obviously going to have an amazing impact on the altcoin market. So anyone that's surprised at that, I wouldn't be, especially if you were keeping Bitcoin into consideration. So Bitcoin is still not at the level where we like to see Bitcoin at, which is again around the 106,800. But with the way things are looking, I think we could actually reclaim back above that tomorrow. But now if you're looking at Pepe here, you can really see, if you're kind of keeping Pepe some March levels and even April levels into consideration, you still have not seen the price of Pepe reclaiming at those levels. Let's just actually keep the March levels into consideration. So if you were accumulating Pepe around the 5370 zone, guess what? You are still up right now about 87%. But even this wick that we did see down to the 8392, you would have still been up about 56.29% from that range. So that should really give you a better understanding as to how good the Pepe's price still is holding, regardless of major amounts of market volatility that we did see over the course of the last few days. In terms of Pepe, people see this as a blue chip coin. At the end of the day, obviously time is going to tell whether or not this is really going to claim itself as a blue chip. Right now, of course, in terms of blue chip currently, it would be Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, and arguably Pepe as well. But obviously, Shiba Inu still here, from the last cycle. It was one of the top gainers, went crazy in terms of valuation, and it's still here. But I think, Pepe is really, showing its strength in terms of the narrative, in terms of, the way community is talking, and, people, majority of the people also, are quite bullish on, Pepe. So that explains why it has held so good. And, we didn't even retest the likes of the March levels. So if you want to put this into perspective from our level, from May, where we went up to the 1618, something that we talked right at the neckline, we retested it. Since then, you did see a drop of about 50%. And I know a lot of people are going to come out and say, well, that's quite a sharp drop, for Pepe. What is this? Well, this is a meme coin. In terms of a use case, there's no use case. And even the projects that have use cases were impacted significantly, down 50-60% from some of the levels that we did see early this year or even just a few months back. And that should tell you the market is very volatile, so you need to time the market perfectly. Also, on top of that, you need to lock your profits in. Do not listen to the trolls that say it's not good to lock in profits. If you are sitting at too much money that you cannot afford to lose, it's the best chance for you to lock those profits, and don't listen to anyone otherwise. But right now, we did claim back above the 10-11 zone. So if you did buy some Pepe around the 8409 zone, again, we do have some support around that range. We're talking about a 23% increase. Obviously, a significant amount of resistance coming in our way, especially around the 1080 zone. If this is able to break out, I am targeting the 1274 zone to be retested next. But let me know down below what you guys think. Where do you see the price of Pepe going? And what are your personal predictions? We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.